Come back to the continuation of the learning the chapter Greek, Roman, and American civilizations. In the previous class, we have learned about the Greek civilization. In that, we have gone through city-states, Athens, Sparta, and the religion, the education and literature, art and architecture, science, sports, especially Olympic Games. And in today's section, we will be learning about the Alexander, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, who were the important philosophers of Greek civilization. So let's start about Alexander. He was the king of Macedonia in Greece. In his short lifespan, he set out to conquer the whole world. He was successful in building a huge empire. He defeated the Persian Empire and advanced towards India. Aristotle, one of the greatest scholars of Greece, was his teacher. He died while returning after a war at the borders of India at Babylonia in 323 before Common Era. The next one is Socrates. There are many anecdotes depicting Socrates' intellectuality. The following is one such anecdote. Athens city was known as the city intelligence. Once a question arose among the intellectuals group. The question was, there are many intelligents in the city. Who is more intelligent among all? As they failed to find a solution among themselves, they went and submitted before Athena, the patron goddess of the city. Athena says that most intelligent of the Athens is Socrates. So, intellectuals went in search of Socrates and located him. They asked him, "What is the secret of your intelligence and how you are more intelligent than us?" On hearing them, Socrates answers like this, "I really don't know. Similarly, you also don't know. But I know that I don't know. But you don't know that you do not know." Thus, he unfolds the vastness of knowledge and philosophy. Socrates was the philosopher who taught the Western world to think logically. Socrates was renowned for intellectuality and nationality. He gave philosophical basis for early Greek thought. He believed in politics, social system, justice, morality, religion, patriotism, democracy, humanity, and ethics. His life was a struggle, suffering, and adventure. His intellectuality was mainly ethical. Knowledge is virtue. Virtue is knowledge, was the foundation of Socratic thought. He did not develop his philosophical thought within four walls. He used to carry on his intellectual exercises in the form of questions and answers with the strangers in the crowded area like marketplaces, shops, and streets. Such thoughts of Socrates' teaching enraged some Athenians and they earned their hatred. Some prejudiced people heaped various accusations on him in order to have him punished. As a result, the jury sentenced him to death and threw him into prison. 1 month later, the jury decided to give him hemlock. Socrates told his students, "I am not afraid of death, but I am afraid to go against religion and truth." On the execution, a jail attendant brought him a cup of poison. Socrates drank the poison and left his earthly abode. Next one we are learning about Plato. He is one of the famous philosophers of Greece and he was a disciple of Socrates and advocated ideas of social justice and ethics. Among others, He was the architect of the idea of ideal republic. He was disturbed by the life around him when the city of Athens was in danger. In order to avoid social and political disintegration, he advocated ethics, philosophy, and education with respect and society and the nation. He was a staunch supporter of education and started a school named the Academy in Athens. This became famous as the first university of Europe. Significant among Plato's scholarly work are the Republic and the Text and History. Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle have been ancient Greece's most important philosophers, proved to be able to influence even the 20th century political thoughts. Plato left Athens after the death of Socrates and traveled to Greece, Egypt, and Italy. He was a scholar who distinguished himself not only in the field of political science but also in mathematics and jurisprudence. Jurisprudence means the study of law. The next one we are learning about Aristotle. Aristotle is an important as Plato in the tradition of Western philosophy. He was a disciple of Plato. The influence of Plato and Socrates are prominent on the thinking of Aristotle. As Aristotle was the teacher and admirer of Alexander the Great, he was opposed by some prejudiced people. The number of enemies increased. Finally, by consuming poison, he committed suicide. He has discussed on the structure of the best state and its nature, status of women, slavery, extent of ownership of property, citizenship, education, revolution, socialization, and democracy. His thoughts can be termed as the progression of Plato's thoughts. He established Lyceum as a complementary to his teacher Plato's school. He told his students, I respect my teacher, but I respect the truth even more. He studied medicine and botany. He had studied deeply the investigative techniques in research. He was the student of Plato at the age 17. He knew about ethics, aesthetics, and early Greek philosophy and was deeply influenced by Plato on these aspects. Due to these traits, he became a close associate of Alexander the Great. Children, are you following the class? So we have learned about Alexander, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, who were the great philosophers of Greek civilization. The next one, in the Roman civilization, we will be learning about the Roman civilization, Gladiator, Julius Caesar, and Augustus Caesar, their literature and the philosophy, art and architecture, etc. So now let's learn about Roman civilization. Italy is a peninsula spreading down into the Mediterranean Sea towards the south of Europe. Alps mountain range is to be the north of Italy, and Alpines mountains range passes through the center of Italy. Rome is one of the banks of river Tiber. It is 25 kilometers away from Mediterranean Sea. In the plains between Alpines and the sea, the tribe named Latins lived. Around 2700 years back, people settled in the place called Rome on the banks of the river Tiber. The ancient people of Rome were called as patricians. The word patrician originates from the Latin word pater, which means father. Romans believed Romulus and Remus as their forefathers. Rome was under the rule of monarchy. The Romans had assembly and a senate as two political advisory institutions. Monarchy means state ruled by king. The assembly was made up of all the middle aged men, whereas the Senate was an elite institution which was very influential. The Senate had the power to reject the proposals of the assembly and the king. In the 6th century BCE, monarchy was abolished and republic was established. Around 3rd century BCE, the administration of the whole of Italy came under the republican states. Even under the Rome Republic, the Senate and the Assembly continued as advisory institutions. The members of these institutions headed the armies during wars. They enforced the law and dispensed justice. There were two classes in Roman society. The one is patricians, the other is plebeians. The patricians were the elite in the society. They were landowners and formed upper classes. It is they who controlled the Senate. The plebeians were the common people. They were the ordinary workers, small landowners, artisans, small traders, and soldiers. Their rights were limited. They were meant to pay taxes and to undergo punishment. The decisions taken by the council and the senate regarding the plebeians could be rejected by the tribunes. In the 5th century BCE, the plebeians rebelled against this system. As a result, the patricians granted them some concessions. Thus, the plebeians got the right to choose the members of the tribunes. It was around this time that a rule based on Roman law was established. This provided awareness over their rights and learned to oppose the violation of their rights. A desire for expansion exposed the Roman into newer conflicts. Hence, they battled with Carthage, a coastal town in North Africa. Sicily was a fertile area. The Romans fought for the control of this area for 118 years. These wars are referred to as the Punic Wars. The Carthaginians were defeated in the war. By early 1st century BCE, the Romans had conquered Greece, parts of Asia and Egypt. Conquest and victories had enabled Rome to acquire vast wealth and riches. Rome won over a lot of gold and innumerable slaves. Rome not only had patricians and plebeians but also had slaves. The slaves did not have the rights of citizenship. They were the private property of their owners. Slaves were also sold. There were instances when the slaves secured their freedom under special conditions. The Romans, who had immersed themselves in their pride of status, used the slaves as gladiators. They amused at the combat of the gladiators from the amphitheater. A majority of the slaves and prisoners lost their lives in such games. Now let's learn about gladiator. The wrestlers of ancient Rome were called gladiators. They were both expert and amateur wrestlers. Among them, the fights were organized to entertain the spectators. These fights, which were fought between human beings and sometimes between human beings and animals, ended in gruesome deaths of the participants. The place where gladiators fought were called as amphitheater and colosseum. Criminals, slaves, and prisoners of war who had lost their citizenship rights were taken as gladiators. Gladiators very rarely used to obtain their freedom by becoming popular and wealthy. Recently, a film titled Gladiator has become famous worldwide. By this, we end the session here. We'll continue in the next class. Thanks.